All right, who's pumped up with the musiquita? Muy buenos días. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well, staying positive and focused on what you can control. Bienvenidos. A big welcome to Cafecito con Ace. We are happy for all of you joining us today, or those that are tuning in later at this recorded session that will be on our social media platforms. Those of you joining us live, take this opportunity to connect with one another, to network. Let us know where you are tuning in from in the chat, and use this time to connect. And so looking forward to hearing with you, looking forward to engaging with you, and especially with our special guest today. For those of you I haven't had a chance to meet, my name is Patricia Mota. I serve as president and CEO of ACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, a national nonprofit organization whose mission since 1982 has been to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the comunidad of talent, providing insight, access, and support to be successful in their careers. And so we do a lot of great work. Looking forward to engage you if we haven't engaged you already. Muchos saludos for those of you joining in. A few key announcements before we jump in. You can always see everything that's happening if you go to the website, follow us on our social media channels. We do know that there's folks that are in transition or looking for that new career opportunity, or transition for the new career opportunity. So there's two key events. There's many events, but there's two that I do want to highlight. One, both are virtual career fairs, and one is specifically for mid-career professionals that's taking place on September 24th. Again, these are free to engage, to meet with the employers that are participating. And so check that out. And then the second one are for early career professionals on October 14th. Again, these are both virtual career fairs, whether for yourself. Text it to those that you know are in transition or looking for opportunities to engage with these events specifically, but also to check out all of the events that we have coming up on the website. I know my colleague will drop the link on the chat so that you could learn more, you can engage, and look at all the employers that we are partnering with on the website, on the Career Center that you can reach, and let us know if there's any employers that you're seeking to connect or engage with. And so I see Florida in the house, Davenport and Lakeland. We've got California, Carlsbad. So good morning, Michelle, Shani. We've got some other folks that are joining us. Continue to engage. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so without further ado, I want to introduce our special guest who's been smiling here with me on the screen, Yezenia Sandoval, who is a training and development program manager at Chicago Jobs Council. She also is engaged with ACE in various ways, but one in particular, she's an alum from our Mujeres de HACE Women's Leadership Program since 2014. And she's been serving this last year and this year as well. We're excited to have you back as our University Leadership Program lead. And so that's our main facilitator, our coach that really helps drive our college students to their University Leadership Program experience. So get ready, get your cafecito, join us for this charla. Yezenia, ¿cómo estás? How are you doing today?
Buenos dias. I feel really great to be sharing this space with you all. I'm super excited and honored to be able to share a little bit more about my experiences with ACE.
And we are super excited and honored to have you. And for those of you joining in, as we engage in this chat, if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, please join in. But first thing is first, and I ask this not only of Yezenia, but for all of us that are tuning in, ¿qué están tomando? What's your beverage of choice? I have my other cafecito. Tell us, Yezenia, how do you like your cafecito prepared, or what's your morning beverage of choice?
I do have my cafecito here with me, my iced coffee. I do drink it year-round, regardless of the season. Love iced coffee, but also coquito lattes have been my favorite thus far. So would recommend.
Coquito lattes. For those of us that don't know what coquito is.
It's a beverage, Puerto Rican beverage, and it has condensed milk in it. And it's very, very good. There is a coffee shop in Humboldt Park called La Plena that has really good coquito lattes. So would recommend checking them out.
I love the shout out for our small business community. So Plena, check it out. Coquito is really great. I know a lot of people enjoy that. Good morning, Francis. We got Staten Island in the house. We've got folks sharing espresso over ice with leche. And please continue to share it in the chat. So year-round iced coffee, huh? So tell us about your experience with the leadership program. Specifically, some of the sessions around personal branding, networking, interviewing, financial wellness. Can you share with us an example of how you've seen students grow or gain confidence from this program?
Definitely, in so many different ways, but
And
I'll try to
also
keep my...
but I also want people to know who you are. So tell us a little bit about your experience and how you got to where you are.
Yes, of course. So once again, I'm a Mujeres de HACE alumna, and I had such an impactful experience being part of that program. A shout out to Liz, Berenice, who were supports during that program. It really taught me how to kind of take a step back and not only be able to reflect on my strengths, but also some of my leadership blind spots. One of the most valuable tools that I had was the Insights Discovery Assessment. And that assessment showed me that I can sometimes shy away from conflict. I desire to create harmony in an environment. So it really pushed me to think about how I could stretch as a leader and really be able to advocate for myself and share ideas that may not be as maybe widely accepted. But throughout that kind of leadership journey and me gaining my confidence, I continued to stay connected with HACE and was able to transition to presenting at the National Summit, as well as one of the guest speakers on generational storytelling, which I really enjoyed, and was invited to become a university leadership program facilitator. And part of that is my background is workforce development specifically for youth. And so I had previously served as a facilitator, helping high school aged youth really learn professional skills. So a lot of parallels to the university leadership program, but in a slightly different context. And I really do enjoy when it comes to coaching, not only teaching the tangible professional skills, but seeing students grow and their ability to articulate their strengths and their interests. And that's something that really stood out to me about the university leadership program, is that students entered a little bit unsure how to market themselves in in-person spaces, but also digital spaces. LinkedIn is something that can be a little bit daunting or intimidating, especially if you come from a first generation background. So students entered not really sure. Some students mentioned, I created a LinkedIn years ago, but I haven't really touched it. And then throughout the program, they were able to refresh their bio and their headshot and add their experiences and really push themselves to post throughout the program and develop a regular cadence. And even post-program, the students I'm connected with, I see their updates. So you can see their consistency and their confidence grow in that ability.
Yeah, and you must be so proud because you're like, oh, I was part of that for the success. And I know especially when you see them posting and engaging, it makes you proud because you help them. I think the program helps them see the value and the importance as they're also building this social network, these relationships that are so critical for students. And I think the other key thing for those of you tuning in that is exciting about this time of the year is I know we've had folks that were dropping off their kids to start their either their first year of college, second or third, and students that are getting ready to start. And so this program is offered digitally, virtually. So it's an opportunity for students across the nation to be able to build their network nationally, but also connect with this amazing content and leaders like Yezenia who are helping lead the way and helping them not only in their educational journey, but as they're prepping for those internships and their first career, right? So are there any other stories that you'll share from the program, Yezenia, that was like a highlight for you?
Definitely. I would say another moment was having a student who was a little bit more reserved or quiet at the beginning of the session really grow in her ability to share out her ideas. And there was one particular session that stood out to me on personal finance. This is something that she was studying and interested in. And I remember presenting a model, a budget model, and she pointed out some of the limitations. And that prompted us to have a conversation regarding how we could adapt this model to fit the needs of the students in the cohort. And so after that, she even presented, we had a kind of capstone project, and she presented some of those solutions in that presentation. And so I think that's a testament to it not only helps you kind of build that content knowledge, but you can also learn from peers and kind of support one another throughout that learning process.
Yeah, I see Michelle saying, "Wish this was around when I was a younger lady." I think we've heard that quite a bit, but there are programs for everyone at HACE, so definitely check out, being an avid learner, and I think having a growth mindset. I think, and even Yesenia, you shared at the top of our conversation your experience with the Mujeres de HACE program. I think there's always opportunities for us to continue to learn and to grow and to build and strengthen our network. So definitely check out our other programs. And Yesenia, so for that students who may be wondering if they are not quite ready for a leadership program or to participate, as you know, and many of us know, a lot of our students are also juggling a lot. Many working multiple jobs. I know that was some of us, and I could say that as well. How, why should they, make sure that they're investing the time with a program like this one?
Definitely. I would say the University Leadership Program really supports individuals across their leadership journey across the spectrum. So whether this is your first kind of leadership program or professional experience, or you've done several, it really provides you that space to develop confidence, but also figure out what leadership means to you. I think sometimes we think that leadership is attached to a certain title or certain years of experience, but this really gives you the opportunity to have a bird's eye view and recognize what are your own strengths and skill sets, and how can that help open up doors when you think about your career planning process. And it provides an opportunity for you not only to learn from facilitators and the curriculum, but once again, to learn from your peers who may have similar backgrounds, but different ideas and perspectives. So I think a big benefit is that cohort-based model that you'll with these folks throughout the program, so you can build those meaningful connections. I would say you also get to hear from guest speakers and experts in the industry that can share not only their successes, but their challenges and what they had to overcome to succeed in their career. So it's a very kind of safe environment for you to learn and walk away with some practical tools. Some of them that we discussed: how to build your LinkedIn, how to maybe refine your resume, how to practice interview skills, develop a strong elevator pitch, personal branding, in-person environments, also digitally. So those are some of the perks. And I would say the learning doesn't stop when the program ends. As you mentioned, Patricia, you're part of this national network. So you can continue connecting with folks. You gain mentors beyond the program, and the opportunity to maybe even participate in other HACE programming as well in the future.
Absolutely. And so I know we have our colleagues that have dropped some additional information in the comments section, whether you're joining us from Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. You'll see the links on there. And then, of course, if you have any questions for Yesenia about Yesenia's background or even the program, please drop those in the chat, in the comment section as well. And these videos will be on here. So if you want to engage later, or if you're watching the recorded version, feel free to continue to drop those questions and engage. Yesenia, to your point, one of the things that I really love is the multi-generational support network that our programs have enabled us to create across the nation, where we have folks more senior in their career coming back as those guest speakers, but even those that are just getting started, and especially for our university, our college students, it's critical to see that the dynamics and someone closer in age that just graduated to those that have been further along, just because it brings so much richness, so much diversity of thought and perspective, and just ideas and support that's needed, because it's so much is changing. And I think you talked a lot about the content regarding the developments and the network, but also personally, right? You talked about the confidence shift that you've noticed from students at the beginning towards, and that confidence shift is part of the need that I think. Whether you call it confidence, whether it's built getting more comfortable with your social network or getting speaking up, I think is something that's critical and more needed now more than ever. And so whether it's programs like this or resources, we want to get this in front of students. And so make sure that you're sharing this out. And so let me ask you, Yesenia, in terms of your experience, was there a particular moment that you witnessed that really stayed with you?
Yeah, I would definitely say students being able to make connections between the content and their lived experiences, and even students' ability to be curious and ask questions. There was one moment where students stayed back after one of the sessions to seek my input on a job offer that she received that she thought maybe wasn't the right fit and wasn't really sure how to kind of frame that language. And so students became really comfortable asking questions, advocating for themselves, but also realizing that you can bring authenticity to leadership and into professional spaces, and you can connect that to your cultural background. Being professional doesn't mean it needs to be devoid of culture or personality. So how do you translate some of those cultural values into workplaces? For instance, how can humility coexist with confidence? I think that was a big one that we had conversations surrounding too, is that sometimes we're taught that speaking up can ruffle feathers, or that, speaking about your accomplishments can come off as you kind of bragging. So how can these cultural values coexist so that you can position yourself to be given some of these opportunities? So I think that translation was really helpful and impactful.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so we are just grateful to have folks like you that continue to come back and pay it forward in the way that you're really being there and taking additional time, right? Because you talk about this, students like spend additional time to walk them through their options, their offer, and so and that means a lot and it's impactful for our youth and those that are participating in the programs. And so you see in the chat that we are accepting applications, and you'll see various programs that are happening for this fall. Right now, we're talking about University Leadership Program. We also, the youngest demographic that we work with are high school. So there's also El Futuro high school program. So that's another effort. And in fact, for that program, we've gotten some of our University Leadership Program alum come back and be the group coach and the program lead and the facilitator. And that's been amazing because it's a leadership opportunity for those students, right, as well, to continue to enhance. So that's when I talk about the multi-generational support network that's being created. So drop any questions that you may have in the chat, or any thoughts or additional insight. And know that these cafecitos are meant to be a resource and to share information. And so we'll love to hear from you. We are also, so what are you most excited about, or what inspired, let me ask you this, like what inspired you to come back? Because you already led a cohort this last year and you're coming back to lead. But what inspires you to give back to the next generation?
I would say my own personal experiences being a first generation college graduate coming from an immigrant background. I had similar programs and mentors who sat with me to kind of coach me on some of these skills, because on paper I did very well academically, but I didn't know how to articulate my strengths and my interests and how that translated to the world of work. And so that's why I find these spaces so valuable. There's such a need to teach some of these professional skills. We know that talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. So how do we connect students who are eager and willing to learn to resources to grow in their leadership journeys and really position themselves to not only secure that internship or that job offer, but really be able to thrive in the workplace?
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, and I love the concept you talk about storytelling and your own individual story. And this is why I love Cafecito con Haces, because we get to feature all of these leaders, multi-generational leaders that are sharing their own cultural background, how they got to where they are. Because I am actively motivated or reminded on the importance of your own story, right? It's no one else's but your own. And knowing the value of that and what it brings to the table in terms of who you are, because it influences the why we give back. It influences where we spend our time on, or the things that are we're interested in as it pertains to our career. So I encourage everyone in the audience to think about what are, your own personal stories and how does that connect to where you are today or where you want to be in the future. So we've got some comments. So Ricky McBride, hola Yesenia, appreciate your insights regarding leadership and young men and women. Marvelous job. I love that word. I haven't heard marvelous in a while. He's in California, work with kids at a resource called Sacramento Job Corps, ages 16 to 24, teaching financial literacy. It's been a blessing because we're breaking the curve where young men and women will gain an advantage. All right, so it's the comments. Thank you, Ricky, for sharing your comment. And then we have Shani, who's asking, do you have to be an alum to get involved with younger generations? Not all of our alum are. I mean, I don't know, Yesenia, I want to ask for your perspective, and then I'm happy to weigh in.
Definitely. I would say my alum experience has motivated me to be involved coaching high school students and coaching college students as well, but does not have to be the case. So definitely would encourage that involvement.
Yeah, we're always a lot of our speakers that are coming in, not all of them are alum. They're connected with some of our other partnerships, perhaps, or other programs, but there's an interest. We do have a form on our website that you could fill out for free, and then we make sure to volunteer so we can reach out to you if you want to engage. So thank you for your question, Shani. We got a thumbs up from Ricky. And if there are any other questions, feel free to engage them in the chat or put them in the chat. But thank you so much. Yesenia, what do you most look forward to, or what excites you about the future?
The future in general, or the future of the program?
The future of the program, but if you want to add anything else in general.
I think they're interconnected. Young people
okay.
definitely inspire me and make me excited about the future. I think just providing more opportunities to young people and creating that talent pipeline. So I'm excited for ULP to continue growing, to continue reaching more young people, and hopefully employers investing in young people. I think that stood out the most. People being able and willing to donate their time to speak with young people and share their experiences makes more an impact than you know. A lot of the students after guest speakers spoke were really just moved by the insights and remarks, and we spent time unpacking it and how that connects to their own kind of experiences and their future goals. So definitely excited for that continued visibility and connection.
That's amazing. And I think you getting so inspired hearing the students and their own testimonials of the program. But I know there's a lot of great part, but when they're doing their presentations as well, it just gives you so much motivation and inspiration for the future. We do have a last question that we can take because we do have a little more time from Griselda. She's asking if first-year college students qualifying, can all majors apply? And is there a fee? So I'm happy to add on, Yesenia, after you add your thoughts.
Yes, definitely. So I facilitated to primarily junior and seniors, the ULP program. And a lot of my students were from a STEM background, but other majors are accepted as well. And there's not a fee to participate in the program. Students do receive a stipend for participating, which is a great perk.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the other way around. We do when students are successfully complete the program, they do receive a stipend, and so we understand that a lot of students are financially strapped, are working multiple jobs, and not only is it an investment for their own career, but obviously it comes with that financial support. And we do, encourage all students to be involved. I think we prioritize juniors and seniors as they're getting closer to looking for internships and that entry level opportunity, but there's other events and things on the horizon that will open up to all college students, and so we encourage them to sign up for free on our website, get our information so that we can continue to engage with them. So Yesenia, I'm also excited about the future. I think it's interconnected. Our youth has so much to offer today and into the future. And I love what you also said regarding, and I think it's critically important for everyone to keep in mind that leading does not require a title. Leading requires everyday actions, decisions on how we're moving forward. And I think that to be able to instill that and to remind our youth that today more than ever, I think is incredibly important. It takes all of us. And so I thank you, Yesenia, for all that you do and being part of this ripple effect in this ecosystem that we're looking at building access and more inclusive opportunities for everyone at the end of the day so that we're able to thrive for ourselves and our families and the communities that we represent. So mil gracias, Yesenia. Thank you for those of joining in. And until next time, hasta la próxima a todos. Cuídense. Take care.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Mine is